their own TV shows. I meet them all the time. People you'd recognize or know. And they're like, how do you get into it? You know, and here I am telling them, and they're on like a network show. But it's a very small group of people that do it. And now, like, some networks tend to cast, like, you know, the shows, the kids shows, they use kid actors from their hit shows to voice kids now more than they used to. Which is tough because the directors and a lot of people like working with adults playing kids more because their voices won't change, and the hour, you're not restricted by labor laws and hours and stuff like that. They'll just work us whenever they want. Oh, right there, okay.
Hi. You told me that when I gave you the scarf that the movie was your favorite, the last. Was it because of the animation, or was it because of the lines, or the emotion that you went through, or anything that you voiced?
I think it was the emotions and the animation. I thought it was really well animated. And visually I thought it was pretty stunning. You know, in animation it's funny. Do you guys know how I do it? I'll just tell you how I do it. So when we're doing ADR, which is dubbing, which is all this anime stuff is all dubbing almost always. What we do is we never get the scripts beforehand. We now get them on an iPad just while you walk in for your session to record. And we're in a recording studio. We record by ourselves. We have a director and an engineer. And we have to cold read the lines, and then you kind of look at it like it would be like line 62. You go to loop 62, it's called. And you go to that line, and then you look up, and they preview it in Japanese in your headphones. And then they play it again, and it goes beep, 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 and where the third beep happens is where you're supposed to start talking and trying to match the lip flaps of the character. And then sometimes we'll have to adjust it, add a word. But you know, if you ever hear this in anime, yeah, it's because we're usually a flap short. So it's like every time someone gets off a chair, they're like, ow! And like I started doing that at home, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? 900 years old. It's like, ooh. Oh. Making all weird noises.
So going back to that real quick, does that mean then that you're able to, while you're there in the screen recording, are you actually being able to see what's going on?
Yeah, except for video games. Video games, you're like alone in a booth, there's nothing on the screen. It's like, you just go, It goes on and on and on. Give me the gum, put it in my mouth. No. I don't need therapy anymore. It's okay. Plus the margaritas. You know. So the video games are kind of like much more vocally taxing. Not the last video game I did, that was a shorter Boruto game. The one before that isn't out yet. I had 12,000 lines in the game. So, and some of them are short, like,
That's a lot of lines.
there's a lot of this. I can do shock any way you want it. Short shock, long shock, closed mouth shock.
Okay.
Open mouth. Huh? Yeah. Oh. Anyway, I digress. I don't know where our volunteer is with the mic, so where are you? Huh?
Hi.
Stand up, will you?
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't know where you were.
Hello.
Hello.
Big fan.
Thank you.
I wanted to also tell you that you helped me out a lot.
Thank you.
A very tough time.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy somebody brought Jim Carrey up because I love him also.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, I know this has been brought up a lot, but do you, I'm not going to say do you prefer Sakura or Hinata. Now I'm asking, do you prefer Naruto with Sasuke or Hinata?
Oh, Sasuke, 100%. It's a character in love. I don't know what's going to happen when they're 40. Bye-bye. my marriage. Oh, whatever, it's never gonna happen. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm just asking if do you like to act in other series of like movies or stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean I love doing original animation. Like I do a lot at Nickelodeon and Pig and Cricket and I've done some Simpsons stuff and you know, it's really fun to do that. That is fun because you're creating it all fresh. So it's different. It's a little more technical with doing dubbing and anime. But I also do, you know, theater and performing, and I love that because it's an immediate audience like this is. You know, so you get your results right away, and it's always fun to delve into a character. It's fun to do a long-running show, but it's also nice to have a lot of variety. You know, especially when sometimes in Naruto it goes down an arc that's really long and dramatic, or sad. It's like, you know, and so it's really deep, and then it's fun to just go do some really goofy voice somewhere or something. Yeah. I do whatever, you know. Whatever they pay me for. Sometimes what they don't pay me for. Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
So about the lift, I'm a big horror fan,
Oh.
and it's nice to know that Naruto is doing a
Yeah.
horror movie. So can you tell any? I mean, I'm pretty sure you're restricted to what you can say. So what can you tell us about it? Like maybe the main cast, side cast.
Oh yeah.
Maybe about the movie.
There are only 3 people in it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really suspenseful.
Oh.
William Butler directed and wrote it. He did a lot of slasher films when he was young. He was always the best friend that got killed. Like Friday the 13th, he did a bunch of those movies. And so now he directed this. It's me and a guy named Tom Fitzpatrick who was in Insidious 2, I think. He plays the Black Queen? Is that something? I don't know what it is. But anyway, and me, and then another character. But I can't say much because it's a short film, and if I said more, that'd be the whole film.
Do you have any yaoi ships from Naruto?
No. Let's just leave that one right there.
Who was your favorite person to work with on the set of Lab Rats?
Oh, gosh, that's tough. I really liked all the kids a lot. They were really smart and funny and fun to work with. I loved a lot of scenes with Leo, the not bionic kid.
Oh.
Yeah, he was fun to work with. Because, you know, he was just, like, you could feed him anything and he'd give it right back. So that was fun, you know. But I really liked all the kids. I love all the kids. But I don't see them very much anymore. They're all grown up. But, yeah.
What are they at?
I'm just doing stuff. I don't know. They're auditioning and stuff. Doing movies. They'll probably be big superstars soon.
Hey, me and my two brothers are really big fans of Naruto. Who's mine? Like, going strong since like the first episode to the last, and even like behind the scenes. So thank you for being the voice for Naruto.
Thank you.
Foremost. And we also admire Masashi Kishimoto. We wanted to know like how is he? Like, is he really like really quiet, or what makes him write the way he is so special?
I've never met him.
What?
No, I've never met any of the Japanese people, except for the producers that came over, but when I met them, I was at my callback, so it was the second audition to play Naruto. And I didn't know who those people were. He wasn't there. But other producers were there. But I was supposed to meet like the Japanese cast in New York at Comic-Con, the big one there, but something happened and then I didn't end up going. So the only way we met them is virtually. We talked to each other on Japanese television, did interviews with us, and sort of simulcast it. But I would love to meet him. I'd love to go. When I went to Japan, I was only in Okinawa and staying on a military base because it was for the troops. And then I didn't go to Tokyo and get to meet anybody. But you know, bucket list. Hopefully, I will see stuff all over the place with Naruto, and I'm like, hey, that's me.
When you go out in the public, do people recognize you?
They recognize me now from Lab Rats. I get a lot of kids that follow me around airports. And I know it because they'll stare at me and then they'll tell them to stare again. They'll grab their mom and they'll be like, shh. The moms are always like, no, it isn't. And I'm like, I'll wave to the kid, and it is. And then, and the kid will be like, Mom, she just said, maybe, And then the kid will get like, I'll see the kid like 10 feet away. I'll turn, like look at my phone, they'll be 8 feet away, 6 feet away, and then all of a sudden I've got like an 8-year-old right there. Hi. And they're like, are you principal? Yeah. I got chased down at a beach by like 20 kids when I was on the beach. I was like, I don't want you taking pictures of me in a swimsuit, get the hell out of here. No, I didn't say that. I just made him take pictures from here up. But that was kind of funny. Yeah. I don't know where. Stand up if you have the mic. We got someone back there. Yeah.
I know you probably get this a lot, but can you say Rasengan?
Rasengan! That was an okay Rasengan.
Yes, I'm just wondering on whenever you go do recordings for voice acting, how long are the sessions? Like, how long are they? How often do you go do like weekly, 3 times a week, or how does that work?
That's a good question. Like the way that we used to do a show I was on, Jakers, when I was a regular on that. Naruto's a little different. Naruto, I'll do like a whole bunch of them, but I only do 2-hour sessions. That's in my contract. So I only do 2 hours, and I do as much as I can in 2 hours. And like other actors can do 2 hours or whatever, but our union allows us to do up to 4 hours. But I don't want to do 4 hours of screaming. So luckily they're like, okay, you can do 2 hours. And then on regular animation, where it's original animation, you can do up to 4 hours on the union contract. But usually they don't use you that long unless you're a lead character. As far as how many times I do it a week, like I've been gone a lot in the last couple of weeks, so I'll probably imagine on Monday I'll get a call asking me to come in like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to do it. Or something like that. Depending, like sometimes we'll get really behind in the scripts being written, so we won't have enough scripts to record. So we'll wait and I won't work for like 3 weeks or a month, and then I'll work a lot. In video games, I set my limit at 3 hours because it's way too much screaming to do more than that. Your voice gets fatigued, and then it just sounds horrible. I think you're back there.
Hi. So we meet Naruto at age 13, but like he grows up, and were you like worried at all, or like how did you portray his like development, I guess, in age?
Well, with the help of the director, I didn't know if I was going to do Shippuden or not. You kind of assume that you are because the Japanese woman did the same role, But there's nothing guaranteed when you're working in show business at all. I know plenty of people that have done a show for years and they've been replaced. So I was a little bit nervous about not doing that part of the chapter. And I didn't know anything about doing Boruto or not. And I still don't know about the series, but, as far as doing it, it was somewhat of a vocal adjustment, but a lot of emotional adjustment, just maturity-wise, and sort of where he was in his life and his path, So that was what you had to adjust to a little bit more, especially in that beginning of the Shippuden episodes.
Hello, I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
You have a good sense of humor. Do you implement that into any of your characters or dialogue? And
Believe it! No.
the question is, my nephew wants to know who will win, Naruto or Goku?
Oh, that is a good question.
Naruto!
Oh, come on.
Of course.
You'll be Goku.
I use humor a lot. I do a lot of comedy shows and stuff like that. But I'll just leave dirty messages for Yuri, who plays Sasuke. I got the track. I'll say my line and then be like, oh, let me redo it. You suck! We used to write really horrible things to each other when we had paper scripts. Like, I can't even say it in front of people.
Come on.
Just say there were a lot of nasty doodles. We have to.
A Lab Rats Elite Force question?
Yes.
I don't know if I missed it while you were talking because I had to run back to get my phone, but is it going to get a second season?
No, it's all done.
Oh.
Yeah. The kids grew up and Disney just decided to pull the plug.
Also, who was funner to work with? The
the characters from Elite Force, because they were the two merging of the two shows.
Yeah.
And I was wondering which crew was more interesting to work with.
Well, I knew the other group from my show way better. And those two other kids from Mighty Men I didn't know as well. And then I didn't do as many episodes of that as the other show. So I liked them a lot, but I didn't get to know them that well. And then by the time I was starting to get to know them better, the show ended. So, but they're great kids. The three, I'm sorry for Mighty Men, that's all.
So do you, because, yeah, big fan as well, but do you remember from the very beginnings of the words of encouragement Naruto told Hinata? Do you remember the line or somewhat?
Oh my god, I've said 5 million lines. I can't, which one? If you tell me, I'll remember.
Because he's oh, don't give up, Hinata, I believe in you. When she's fighting against Neji, her cousin.
Oh, way back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, kinda. I don't remember the exact wording of the
Or if you
lines.
say a line don't give up, because that was pretty much a very big inspiration for me.
Oh.
Throughout the whole entire show,
Yeah.
I'll watch so that was what, 7 or something?
Yeah.
From straight out of karate class, it's yes, Naruto song. But those lines, those specific lines were just some of the very few that really impacted on me and really left me in my mind. I still remember it. I was just boy, yes. But if you kind of say something similar.
If you give me a line, I'll say it.
Let's see, don't give up, Hinata, I believe in you, or something like that.
Don't give up, Hinata, I believe in you, or something like that. That was lame, I'm sorry. I think we got someone over here.
Hi, how did you come across being the voice of Naruto, and what was the process of that?
I sent in my audition. I went into my voice agency to go audition because they sent me an audition. Can come in, whatever, Tuesday morning. And I did, and then I got called back because